Periods and football. Meet the fans campaigning for free sanitary products at stadiums. So these three hags, these dolled up, look at this, tons of makeup. Look at this dopey looking hag here. These three, I don't know, harpies are campaigning to have sanitary towels for free in football clubs. Periods are two things rarely ever mentioned in the same sentence. Still a taboo subject. Many people will still ask in 2018 what periods have got to do with sport. But with more than a quarter of Premier League fans women, it has never been more relevant than it is now. What the fuck are you talking about? So, with that in mind, meet these three demented lunatics. Three Celtic fans behind On the Ball campaign to get free sanitary products in football grounds around the United Kingdom. I was at the football game at the start of the year and noticed that sanitary products are locked up in machines. Yes, that's where they normally are. Means you have to buy them and pay for them. Sanitary bins are not in every toilet. Fine, okay, just mention that to the management. And it just isn't a priority for football clubs. No, it isn't, you twat. This is a typical 20-year-old politics student. That was here we go, Irene. There you go. There it is. There, typical dopey student, and it's a political. You know, it obviously goes to is going to university to learn nonsense. Look, this is a feminist campaign, as you can see, by these three women. They're looking for something to make them famous. And this is what we'll hope will push them to make them famous. But the thing that I was thinking about when these three are banging on about sanitary towels need to be provided for free, their argument is this. One of the reasons for starting the campaign was to increase the visibility of female fans, because we are second on the agenda in football grounds. Well, if you're second, I mean, I've just seen now that there are now Manchester United have got a female club now. They stopped in 2005 because it was costing them money. They've been pressurised by the feminist bastards out there to set up another club. 4,000 people went to see this game. This came out of Manchester United. The males who are playing, who are drawing the crowd, the 90,000 people to their games, they have to put that money, their hard money, to set up this club for the women, so that the women come into the ground. And I heard at one time some of the women on some other clubs complain that they don't have access to the male players. They're so privileged. They're playing in, I mean, I think Chelsea women or all these other female who have clubs. Some of these women are saying that they need to have access to these guys as I don't know, as inspiration. They need to be there to mentor them. What? In the Me Too era, No man wants to mentor women for this very reason. But let's continue. So this is an agenda. This is a political agenda because it's about was to increase the visibility of female fans because we are second on the agenda in football grounds. Well, what is first? And what agenda are you talking about? That's not to say we are made to feel unwelcome, but we aren't a priority football clubs, and we are really conscious of that. So this is a situation where women must be first and front forward at the pinnacle of everything. They must be on that pedestal. Men should be holding them up on that pedestal. And if they're not, they're misogynists. It's a problem. A real problem. And so these women are highlighting this so-called imaginary problem. Starting earlier this year with their own club, the On The Ball trio went to Celtic Park to ask them to provide free sanitary products at the stadium. So they got an audience with Celtic, whatever. We knew we had to be confident and not be too intimidated as three young women going into a male-dominated sphere. There you go. So here we go. These women are so afraid, but they have to show confidence. They're going into a male-dominated sphere, and they may not be treated well. But whatever nonsense they're talking about. They were successful. 6 more clubs in both Scottish and English football have followed suit, including Kilmarnock, Tranmere, Rovers and Barnsley. On Saturday, their campaign went viral on social media when one football fan tweeted a picture of a basket full of sanitary towels and tampons. Here we go. Here is said pictures with the so-called free sanitary towels. We don't believe you should pay for essential items. Please use it if needed. So this is by the arseholes, the On The Ball club. But why all the fuss? According to charity Bloody Good Period, the average lifetime cost of sanitary products is approximately $4,800. In addition, a 2017 survey of 1,000 14 to 20-year-olds by Plan International UK found that 1 in 10 women and girls have been unable to afford sanitary products, while 12% have had to improvise the sanitary wear. It's unfortunate, but life is hard and one has to navigate life. You can't expect to get everything for free or everything that does it for you, Yet, as Erin, or whatever the bloody name is, points out, people aren't going around paying for toilet roll or soap in public toilets. That's got nothing to do with we're talking about football. I mean, again, if you go to the public toilets, they have machines. And I don't know whether you pay for those sanitary products when you go into the women's toilets. But again, this is a product that you pay for. And usually they come out of your taxes to pay for this product. But let's continue. She adds, one of the most common arguments we get is that people can afford a match ticket, they can afford a tampon. Mm-mm. That isn't an argument. You see, let's look at it this way. Your statement is, all right. Let's continue here. That's easily quashed. Here we go. At Celtic, and I imagine at a lot of other clubs, a lot of tickets are given to charities. So young people come who haven't paid for their tickets or their transport. So why should they have to pay for their period products? Young girls come to games with male relatives, and it is difficult for them to say, "Dad, can I have £2 for the machine?" Why is it difficult? I thought the whole point of your campaign is to make it easier for people to talk about periods. Everybody knows about periods. I'm sure if a little girl asked, said, "Dad, look, Dad, I need a product, the product for my period," it's his daughter. He's going to understand that. If you're talking about it was our uncle or another relative, but this is the father, for God's sake. He brought that child, helped bring that child into this world, and he knows about these little problems, and he should be ready. If anything, he should have the products with him. The wife, if or girlfriend, should have made sure that her daughter has this with her at all times. But instead, you expect everybody else to do this for you, provide this for you, instead of being prepared yourself. Who are these stupid little girls? The reaction has been, as expected, mixed. But the three women say there has been a real change. After Celtic agreed to provide free products, the trio decided to pursue. Here we go. This is the language that they use, to pursue the whole league. So these, but admit they never predicted it would have this much of a knock-on effect. Bullshit. This is a concerted campaign by three women who are looking to try and make themselves famous, and they're now going to go after the so-called other leagues to force them to put free sanitary products in their toilets. But since Saturday's social media frenzy, several clubs around the UK have been in touch with them to express their interest in providing free sanitary their own grounds. Why do they have to get in touch with them? Why not just provide the free? If they really wanted to, just put the damn things in the toilets. Why do you have to contact them? I don't understand. At first, I think people thought, who are these silly young girls? They thought, we don't even like Celtic. That was just crazy feminists. That we were just crazy feminists with our own agenda. So yes, you are crazy feminists with your own agenda. Okay. And here we go. There was still that medieval mindset that reared its head now and again, that football is a man's sport. Precisely. And there was no place for it. It is a male-dominated sport. And 30 years ago, the idea that we would be talking about periods was unthinkable. It was really hard, especially for supporters who were that bit older, to understand why this had relevance to Celtic and to football. Don't see it. Celtic is such a big influence. We are a very big club in a very big stadium with a big reputation, and we have always said that with that comes a responsibility to lead by example. It felt only right to do this through football. Why? Through football. I don't like football. I'm not a football fan. look, this is my take on this. The thing that they're talking about is saying, when you go into, this is football, when you go into the football grounds, into the toilets, there's free toilet paper and free soap. So why isn't there free sanitary towels? The toilet paper and the soap are equally provided in both the men and the women's toilets. Both men and women pay for those the soap and the toilet paper out of the ticket. So the grounds are paid for out of the ticket that you pay for, you buy. The seats, the maintenance of the stadium comes out of the ticket that you pay for. The manager's wages come out of the ticket that you pay for. The players' wages, huge as they are, comes out of the ticket that you pay for. All the facilities in that club comes out of the ticket that you pay for. So therefore, the toilet paper isn't really free. The soap isn't really free because it's been equally provided between both the men and the women because they both pay for that out of their ticket. The toilets are provided out of the ticket, the men and women's toilet. So when you say that the sanitary towels are free, it's free for the women. Who is actually really paying for those sanitary towels? The men. The men who are not going to use those sanitary towels. So they will have to pay for those sanitary towels. So while it may be free for the women, the men are actually paying for those sanitary towels because at some point the club may increase their ticket prices a little bit to cover the costs. That way, the cost will be spread across the whole of the tickets so as not to be seen as, oh, we've got to charge women that little bit extra more for their ticket. They wouldn't dare do that. Yet at this moment in time, if they're giving free tampons, they're not free. They're being paid for by the club. And who is really paying for? The male supporters are paying for those sanitary towels for the women to get them for free. It's coming out of their pocket. Because at the end of the day, the men don't use the sanitary towels, as I said before. So the club will have to pay whatever it's going to, because listen, if they're charging £2 for a sanitary towel, you can imagine how much it's going to be if they've got to provide free sanitary towels to all women that go to their clubs throughout the United Kingdom. It's not going to be a couple of £100. It's going to, or a couple of £1,000. It's probably going to go into a couple of, maybe £1 million or so. It's not going to be small change. So where you think they're going to just give that out of the charity of their heart? No, they will recuperate that money by increasing the ticket, which means that in the end, men will be paying for those free so-called sanitary towels for the women. The clubs aren't going to pay for that. It will come out of the ticket money. At the moment, men and women pay for the toilet paper, pay for the soap equally. Now, men have to actually pay for the sanitary towels for women, for them to get it for free, which they will not have access to because the men don't need the sanitary towels. So how can it be free? How can it be free? Why not increase the ticket price of women's tickets by, I don't know, 10p, 20p to cover this cost so that everybody pays for it equally? But no, it won't happen that way. So therefore, here we have another situation where men are going to be paying for something that they won't be using. Yet they make up the majority of the fans. But they have to pay for these tampons for these women so that they can get it for free. That's why this campaign is complete and total bullshit. It's bullshit. It's a feminist political agenda. Feminism is like ISIS. They're like the ISIS movement and the Taliban movement. There are all these little factions that are around, and they operate independently, but under the same mantra, under the same guide. They have one aim. Feminism has one aim, and that is to pull down at every point that they can the so-called male dominance in men's society. Football is a game. I hate football. Although I don't like the game very much. But it's a game that has been played for years and years and years by men. And men used to go to enjoy their game of football. There isn't a problem with women coming to watch football. Not a problem. You see in rugby, there's a lot of women that go and watch rugby. Especially now that rugby's become professional. I'm sure there isn't this kind of problem. I think that women do what those women that go to watch rugby take their tampons with them. They pay for their tampons. They don't expect the club to pay for it out of their own pocket. But then again, there may be a campaign by some of these feminists in the future. I mean, there was a big hoo-ha. Was it Clay Hoey got in Parliament when the RFU decided to drop the 15-a-side women's club because it was costing them money. They're not making any huge amount of money from the women's 15 game. But there was called, you could hear they were being called misogynists, and every time they'll bring out this word misogynist, that when they dropped this team, they couldn't afford it. Rugby doesn't get anywhere near the same kind of money as football does. Okay. And yet they're expected to run a female team as well. Why can't these female teams operate in the same way as they did back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, when rugby union was amateur? They came through the process. Why don't the women team, if they love rugby that much, continue with that team, keep on pushing? No, because they expect to be looked after by the RFU all the way through. Expect to get a 5-star hotel all the way through. I mean, and it's the same with football. Now Manchester United have been forced to have a female club now, because of pressure from feminists who are bitching and shouting, "You're a club that's misogynist. You don't have women. That's why you dropped the team in 2005." So they were forced to bring in this team. It felt right to do this through football, to bring this kind of change. Why through football? What's football got to do with this? Really? This is a personal issue for women. Why do you have to bring this into a game that men want to go and watch a game of football in peace? We believe period products should be readily available and accessible at no cost, just like toilet roll and soap. As I said before, toilet roll and soap is provided by the clubs through your ticket. So it's not free, as you might like to think. I mean, why don't when you go to watch football or rugby, why don't the clubs give free food to all the fans? You know, as a matter of course. Why don't you go in and buy? Because they don't. They don't. Because it would be too expensive for the club to do that. Sanitary towels, again, are for one half of the population. That's women. Men are not using sanitary towels, but yet they will be expected to pay for those sanitary towels for those women to get them for free. So the ticket price won't increase, although it may do later on in the next few years when they see this this product in their toilets. And once they're getting them, the women will walk in there and get them for free. The ticket price will go up at some point. They're a business. They're there to make money. Okay, they're not there to give free things. Okay, the argument of the charity is bullshit. It's bullshit. So I think, you know, for clubs to capitulate to these three dim-witted feminists is an example where feminism is incredibly powerful, a very, very dangerous organization, dangerous ideology. And if men don't wake up, it will destroy this society. The MGTOW movement hasn't been going very long in comparison. I mean, feminism started around 1866, around the time when not the civil rights, the slavery had, I think it was the debate around slavery was ending, and you know, and there was issues about, you know, freedom, who was actually free. You know, you need to read the history about it, but feminism stemmed very much from that period of time in America. So it's an ideology. I mean, there's a great lady by the name of Irving Prissy, I can't pronounce her second name, but she's the woman that set up the first female shelter in the United Kingdom, and it was the only one anywhere in the world. But she set it up very much by accident, and it was just, she set up a little in a house, basically to have a coffee morning with a few of their friends in the area. And over time it grew, because more and more people heard of the ladies in the area heard about it. But she has said that feminism is has been and was a terrorist movement many, many years ago. And she can't stand feminism. She can't stand feminists. They are an evil set of people. And this is an example of feminism pushing its way into something that really, I mean, you know, to have to pay for these things, you have to pay for these things. Yeah. I just think that this is just a publicity stunt by these three women, and they're running with it. They really are, to become famous. They're hoping to get on the BBC probably, and all this kind of nonsense. But as I said before, and I'll say it again for the last time, the toilet paper and the soap is not free. You still pay for it through your ticket. Just like they pay for the cleaner through your ticket. Just like you pay for the maintenance of the grounds through your ticket. Just like you're paying for the managers through your ticket. Just like you're paying for the players through your ticket. They also sell merchandise in order to, as in, you know, the shirts, the boots, the shorts, etc., etc., to gain extra money. But the ticket, okay, that you pay for pays for everything in that ground. the maintenance of the ground, the groundsman, everything. So the toilet paper and are a cost. You think they get toilet paper and the soap for free? They don't. They pay for it, just like an office pays for toilet paper, or when they pay their rent to the place that they work at. The toilets will have toilet paper, will have soap, and will have a cleaner that will clean the toilet. That comes out of your rent. The same thing with this. So to say that the sanitary towels are free, they're not free. They're going to be paid for. But men will now be paying for those sanitary towels. The women will be getting them for free. So I've said my bit. Thanks for listening.